Hey, before we get into anything, I need you to do something for me right now. I need you to just stop for a second. Stop scrolling. Stop multitasking. Put the phone down if it's not what you're watching on. Because what I'm about to say in the next few minutes is something you have felt in your body for a long time, but never had the exact words for. Pause. Let that land. You wake up. You go through your day. You do everything right. You pay your bills, or at least you try to. You show up for your family. You show up for your job. You follow the rules. You play the game. And yet, there's this feeling that won't go away. This low hum in the back of your mind that something, you don't know what, something is just off. Like you're running on a road that keeps getting longer. Like the finish line keeps moving. Like no matter how hard you push, you're still ending up in the same place. And the worst part? You look around at other people and they look fine. So you think, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm just broken. I'm here to tell you right now, you are not broken. What you're feeling has a name. And that name has been very deliberately kept from you. Today, I'm counting down from 5 to 1. 5 invisible forces that are quietly hollowing out millions of American lives. And I promise you, by the time we hit number 1, you are going to understand something about this country that will completely change the way you see your own life. But I need you to stay with me all the way through, because number 1 is the one that connects everything. And if you leave before we get there, you'll only have half the picture. Let's go. Number 5, you're not lazy. You're running on empty. Let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time you felt genuinely rested? Not just slept, but actually rested. Like you woke up and thought, yeah, I've got this today. For most Americans right now, that feeling is a distant memory. And I'm not talking about normal tiredness. I'm talking about a specific kind of exhaustion. The kind that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that follows you into the weekend. The kind that makes a Tuesday feel like you've already run a marathon. And it's only 9 in the morning. The American Psychological Association found that more than 3 in 4 Americans are living with significant physical or emotional symptoms of chronic stress. 3 in 4. Think about that. Look at the 4 people closest to you right now. Statistically, 3 of them are running on fumes. But here's what nobody is talking about. It's not just the work that's draining people. It's the pretending. Pretending you're fine when you're terrified. Pretending you're confident when you're one unexpected bill away from a breakdown. Pretending the anxiety you wake up with every morning is just adulting. Psychologists call this emotional labor. And in America, we are performing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 0 breaks and 0 acknowledgement. Here's what makes this a trap. The more exhausted you are, the worse your judgment gets. The worse your judgment, the harder your life becomes. The harder your life, the more exhausted you feel. Round and round. And a population that is this exhausted doesn't ask questions, doesn't organize, doesn't push back. They just survive the day and collapse at night, which is exactly the way some very powerful people prefer it. Now hold on, because number 4 is where this gets darker. I'm about to show you something the Surgeon General of the United States officially put in writing, and almost nobody talked about it when it happened. Don't skip this one. It directly. Number 4, the invisible epidemic that's killing people faster than obesity. Okay. Real talk. In 2023, the United States Surgeon General, the nation's top doctor, put out an official advisory. Not about heart disease. Not about cancer. Not about obesity or diabetes or drug addiction. About loneliness. He called it a public health epidemic. And the research behind that declaration is staggering. Because scientists found that being chronically lonely carries the same risk to your physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Not metaphorically, literally. Your body breaks down the same way. Now here's the part that should make your head spin. We live in the most technically connected moment in all of human history. Every single one of us has a device in our pocket that can connect us to literally anyone on the planet in under 10 seconds. And Americans have never in recorded history been more alone. One study from the Survey Center on American Life found that the number of people who say they have no close friends at all has multiplied 4 times over since 1990. 4 times. And before you say, well, people are just introverted now. No, that's not what's happening. What's happening is that every single institution that used to bring people together has been quietly dismantled. The local church, gone or shrinking. The neighborhood bar where everybody knew your name, replaced by DoorDash and Netflix. The union hall, Gutted. The town square. Dead. Even the office where at least you saw human faces every day. Replaced by a Zoom call where half the cameras are off. And what filled the void? Social media, which gave us the performance of connection. The likes, the comments, the followers. Without a single drop of the real thing. You can have 1,000 people following your life online. And not one person to call at 2 a.m. when everything falls apart. And here's why this is not just sad, it's strategic. Lonely people are easier to sell to. Lonely people are easier to distract. Lonely people are easier to control. A person with a strong community doesn't need to buy happiness. But a person who is isolated and empty, that person is a perfect customer. Pause. I want you to sit with that for a second. Because what I just described, the exhaustion, the loneliness, those are things being done to you. But number 3 is about something being done inside you. Something so subtle, most people never even notice it happening. And once you see it, you're going to start looking at your own life very differently. Stay with me. Number 3, someone stole your identity. And you paid them to do it. I want to ask you a question that might feel a little uncomfortable. Who are you? And I don't mean your name or your job title. I mean, who are you? What makes you you? What do you actually stand for? What community do you belong to that would miss you if you disappeared? Because here's the thing. 50 years ago, most Americans had clear answers to those questions. You were part of something. A church community. A neighborhood with roots. A union that fought for your rights. An extended family that actually gathered. A town where your last name meant something. You had an identity that was given to you by belonging. Not something you had to buy, but all of that got stripped away. And something else moved into the empty space it left behind. Consumer identity. In modern America, your sense of self, who you are, what you're worth, how you measure up, has been quietly handed over to corporations. You are what you drive. You are what brand is on your sneakers. You are what neighborhood you can afford to live in. You are what phone you're holding right now. Think about how wild that is. Your identity, the most personal thing about you, is being rented to you by companies whose only goal is profit. And the genius of it is this. Consumer identity can never be completed. The moment you finally get the car, the house, the outfit, there's already a new version being marketed to you. There's already a new standard you don't quite meet. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. The fact that humans adapt almost instantly to every new acquisition and return right back to the same baseline feeling of not enough. And American capitalism has turned that psychological quirk into a trillion-dollar business model. Keep people slightly empty. Keep people slightly insecure. Keep people just one purchase away from feeling whole. But make sure they never quite get there. That's not a bug. That's the feature. Now, I have to be straight with you about number 2. Because up to this point, everything I've described could still be chalked up to unintended consequences. Things that just happened. Number 2 is where I show you why that explanation doesn't hold up. Number 2 is going to reframe everything you just heard. And some of you are going to feel a flash of real anger. Good. Keep that feeling. You're going to need it. Number 2. This was never an accident. Follow the money. Okay. I need you to stay with me on this one. Because I want to take everything we just talked about. The exhaustion, the loneliness, the stolen identity. And I want to ask you one question. What if none of this was accidental? Most people, when they look at these problems, say, the system is broken. And I understand why. That's the natural conclusion. But here's a different question. What if the system isn't broken? What if it's working exactly the way it was designed to work? Because think about it this way. A workforce that is chronically exhausted does not organize strikes. A population that is deeply lonely does not build protest movements. A society that has outsourced its identity to brands does not question the corporations behind those brands. Exhausted people scroll. They don't march. Lonely people consume. They don't mobilize. People whose self-worth is tied to their possessions do not bite the hand that sells to them. Now look at what happened to the American economy over the last 50 years. Worker productivity in America has gone up over 60% since 1979. Wages? Up less than 18%. The top 1% of Americans now hold more wealth than the entire bottom 90% combined. And meanwhile, what is the message being pumped into American culture 24/7? Work harder. Hustle more. You just need better habits. The only thing standing between you and success is your mindset. That message, personal responsibility for what are clearly systemic problems, is perhaps the most effective tool of mass control ever invented, because it takes a problem that would require collective action to fix, and convinces every individual that the failure is theirs alone. So instead of millions of people pointing outward and asking, why is this system designed to keep most of us struggling? They point inward and ask, what is wrong with me? And that one question, what is wrong with me, sends millions of Americans into self-help books, wellness apps, antidepressants, productivity courses, all trying to optimize themselves for a system that was never designed to let them win. I know that lands heavy, and I know some of you are sitting there right now with something clicking into place in your chest, because you've known this. Somewhere deep down, you've known it. You just needed someone to say it plainly. But here's the thing. Everything I just told you, numbers 5, 4, 3, and 2, they are all symptoms of one single disease. And number one is the thing that, once it goes, everything else starts to collapse. It's the one thing that built this country. It's the one thing that has kept people going through every depression, every war, every crisis in American history. And right now, it is disappearing. Do not turn this off. Number one is why you're really here. Number one, when a nation stops believing in tomorrow, I want to say one word, and I want you to notice what happens in your body when you hear it. Hope. That's it. Not a policy, not a politician, not an economic theory. Hope. The simple, human belief that tomorrow can be better than today, that your effort means something, that if you work hard enough, sacrifice enough, love your family well enough, things will get better. That belief, more than any law, more than any leader, is what built America. Immigrants left everything they knew and crossed oceans for it. Families survived the Great Depression for it. People marched through fire hoses and police batons for it. The entire American story is a story of people who believed, against all evidence sometimes, that tomorrow was worth fighting for. And now, a Wall Street Journal survey found that only 36% of Americans still believe the American dream is achievable. 36%. That means almost 2/3 of the country, roughly 200 million people, have quietly, privately given up on the foundational promise of the nation they live in. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. The way you stop expecting a call from someone who's let you down too many times. And when hope goes, really goes, something happens to people that is very hard to reverse. They stop voting, because what's the point? They stop dreaming, because dreaming just sets you up to be disappointed. They stop connecting, because why invest in something that might just disappear? They stop fighting, because fighting takes hope, and hope is gone. They just survive. Day by day, bill by bill, distraction by distraction. And a nation of 200 million people who are just surviving, who have stopped believing the game can ever be fair. That is not a nation in decline. That is a nation that has already fallen. It just hasn't hit the ground yet. So I have to ask, what do we do with that? Closing, the thing nobody wants to say out loud. I'm not going to insult you with a 5-step plan. I'm not going to tell you to journal more, think positive, or vote for the right person and watch everything get better. That's not what this is. What I will say is this. The fact that you watched this entire video tells me something important about you. You haven't given up. Not fully. Because people who have completely given up don't go looking for answers. They don't sit with uncomfortable truths. They don't let themselves feel the weight of what's actually happening. But you did. And that matters more than you know. Because here is the real secret hidden inside everything I just told you. The exhaustion, the loneliness, the stolen identity, the rigged game. All of it only works as long as people believe they are alone in feeling it. The moment people realize that what they feel in private, that low hum, that something is wrong feeling, is shared by tens of millions of other people, that's when things start to shift. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not failing at life. You are a human being who was handed a broken system and told it was a mirror, and you are starting to see the difference. So here's what I want you to do right now. One thing, just one. Go to the comments, right now, before you watch anything else, and tell me this. What was the exact moment you realized something in America wasn't right? Was it the first time a medical bill showed up that you couldn't believe? Was it watching your parents work their entire lives and still struggle? Was it the day you did everything right, got the degree, got the job, and realized it still wasn't enough? Tell me your moment. Because when you share it, when you put it into words, two things happen. First, you stop carrying it alone. And second, Someone else reads it and realizes for the first time that they're not alone either. That is how this starts to turn around. Not with a revolution, not with an election, with people telling the truth to each other. Drop your moment in the comments. And if this video gave words to something you've been feeling but couldn't explain, send it to one person right now who needs to hear it. One person. Because the only thing more powerful than the truth is the truth spreading. I'll see you in the next one.